After 10,000 years, I'm free. Time to conquer Earth. Okay, guys, let's get started. We only were gone off the YouTube for a couple days, and now I'm at my parents' place waiting for my family to arrive, and then we're gonna have some vigorous tapanyakker dinner. So first things first. Let me guys know how the audio sounds and how the video quality is, because I'm on my laptop and I have some internal mic. I didn't plan to go live, but since you guys showed me some support, or actually a lot of support, I figured I might as well take this opportunity to test out the kinks of the channel and see if we could actually go live and if we can collect an audience. Now, we're 2 hours earlier than usual because, again, I'm going to have a dinner with my family in about 1 hour. So please let me know how the audio sounds, and then we're going to go right into it. So please, mic check, mic check. In the meantime, I can make some adjustments. Waiting for the chat to go and let me know if the audio is okay. Audio sounds good. Audio solid. All right, let's get started. So the reason for the ban is, I don't know. I filed for the appeal. I told or I asked the YouTube, said, hey, instead of banning my channel, maybe point out where I made a mistake so I can promise not to do it ever again. And then a couple days later, my YouTube channel was reinstated and saying that, well, basically, you're back and good luck. You know, they sent me on my way. So did I get mass flagged for the WADA prohibited list of 2025 or approved doping stack? I'm not sure. Is it the incessant use of affiliate codes? I'm not sure. Is it 7 years of talking about performance enhancing drugs openly? I'm not sure. But I might have to reel myself back in a little bit going forward and be a little bit more cautious. I'll go through the community guidelines yet again and see what's possible, what's not possible. And then in the meantime, I guess we're going to have to promote stuff through some alternative pathway. All right. So I'm here in Holland. We had a great time at the Oxford Enhanced Games seminar with Dr. Dean St. Mart, Victoria Felkar, and everybody else that was there. So that was a lot of fun. And ever since I came to Holland, I've been just hanging out with my family, eating a lot of food, taking seconds and thirds. That's why my face is nice and round. So in January, we'll start dieting. But until Christmas is over and New Year is done, there will be no dieting besides the seafood diet. Yeah, good stuff. All right, let's see if there's any questions that are fun. That thumbnail. Yeah, if you know, you know, right? If you're over 35 years old, you might know where the reference is coming from. And that was not 10,000 years, it was only 4 days, luckily. So, but we're back in business, baby. Let's see. Alvaro JD, Steve's doing Lord's work of content, coming back after exactly 3 days. I think I'm seeing a connection here. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but right, Jesus is a little bit more pristine than I am, but there might be a little connection and correlation there. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. Everybody's loving the thumbnails. Let's see. What did you get banned for? Did mentioning of AA and MA finally got you banned worthy level? Yeah, it could be. I got no explanation, so that could be a reason. Again, I was promoting the discount codes and the affiliates pretty hard. Luckily, I didn't get banned before Black Friday, so I didn't miss out on any sales. Was it worth it to be perpetually muted? I'm not sure. Let's see what happens to the channel over the next year, you know, see if my views come up to the previous level or if I'm even more shadow banned than I was before. Yeah, let's see. Mohammed says, I got my subscription canceled with no reason. I can't resubscribe. Does that happen to everybody, just me? Well, I see the notification next to your name, so that means that it just automatically got extended. So you don't need to resubscribe as a Vigorous crew member because you still are. So I think you're fine there. Wakanda forever, exactly. Even got the black gold jewelry to match. Glad the channel isn't gone. The king of YouTube is back. Let's go. That's right. The king of PD. The PD side of YouTube, which is only a very small, tiny section. Filled with a lot of big dudes. And me is there, and Chase is there, and Paul Burnett is there, and Scott McNally is there. All big dudes talking about PEDs. so ironic, right? You dropped the biggest video of the year, 1 hour 40 minutes, WADA prohibited or WADA approved doping stock of 2025 to kind of show to everybody else that's a part of the enhanced games. And then you wake up on the day of the seminar, channel gone. Had a lot of worse things happen in my life, so all we can do is laugh. And I was 99% sure that I was going to get the channel back as well. I know a guy that helps. That usually helps. Let's see, B Brad. We're just going to do one question per person because we don't have so much time today. What beta blocker would you recommend for athletes trying to reduce anxiety during their event, and how would you go about dosing? It depends if it's a long-term event or a slow-term event, and it would either be propanolol or nabivolol depending on the duration of the event and how you respond. Because reducing anxiety, it might not be a good idea to take a beta blocker because that might also lower performance in some individuals, even though in some individuals it might enhance performance. So again, you need to do a little bit of experimentation to see how nabivolol or propanolol impacts your performance and your anxiety. But there's better ways to reduce anxiety. Cannabinoids, for example, or saffron extract or L-theanine, right? Or some of the other nootropics, estrogen root extract, some of the adaptogens. So you'll have to experiment a little bit to see which of these compounds reduce anxiety but do not impair performance. And if that means that you need a cocktail of a low dose of several different compounds, beta blockers, adaptogens, and therapeutic over-the-counter supplements, then so be it. Look at the Gorilla Mind Calm. That usually gets the anxiety and the stress down without lowering performance in any way, shape, or form. Also contains phosphatidylserine. Good stuff. Given that a fighter couldn't take more than 150 milligrams testosterone per week, does it even make sense to take test at all if you're natural above 800? Could you just do growth hormone and EPO? Yeah, so if you take, let's say, 125 to 150 milligrams testosterone per week, daily subcutaneous microadministrations, and you bring your levels up to 800, 900, 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, that's the entire day. Whereas natural levels are 800, 900 in the morning, and then they taper down. So in this difference, where you have a valley and you injecting, having stable levels, there will be a significant difference in performance and recovery. So look into it that way. I take growth hormone before bed. Just started erythrocytide. Is the late gastric emptying from the erythrocytide an issue? Going to take the growth hormone on empty stomach? No, because the late gastric emptying will also improve your insulin sensitivity. So again, I think the problems with growth hormone and the reduction in insulin sensitivity are greatly overrated. If you live the lifestyle, you eat healthy, and again, you're in the caloric deficit, so how much impedance of the growth hormone regarding insulin sensitivity are you going to have when you are limiting fat sources and carb sources? I think not. Right? You're living a lifestyle, you do daily fasted cardio, your glucose or glycogen stores are depleted, you're in a caloric deficient state, it's not going to make a difference. Actually, erythrocytide or negative difference. And erythrocytide plus growth hormone, both before bed, is basically a cheat code for fat loss because the glucagon is active the entire night. You don't have any food in your stomach. The growth hormone is helping with lipolysis alongside the glucagon and also raising IGF-1 levels downstream. And then you have continuous appetite suppression during the day. And again, erythrocytide has a very long half-life. So whether you take that in the morning or evening, it doesn't really matter. But if you combine it with growth hormone around the same time, then you have basically triple action through the GIP, glucagon, and growth hormone receptor agonism overnight while you don't have any food in your stomach, or at least minimal amounts, because your appetite is severely blunted. So I think that's a great stock. Selfless Fitness, welcome back, Steve. Glad you were able to get out of jail so quickly. Yeah, so played a lot of Monopoly in my day, and I have a get out of jail for free card. I played it now, so I got to be extra careful going forwards because I'm not sure if I can play it again. But that means that, I was able to get the channel back in just 4 days. So that's pretty good. I woke up with a channel and then 4 days later, or without a channel. And then I woke up a couple of days later with a channel, which is faster than Mark Bell or I think Bake were able to accomplish. I think it took them almost a week or 1.5 weeks. And my biggest nightmare was obviously not to have the channel back before Christmas because, well, as soon as Christmas starts, that's during the week, right? Nobody's working and they take extra days off and you have New Year's. And so by the time the channel would have been back, then we're talking January. the earliest. Yeah, that would have been bad. But luckily we got it done. So whoever's watching over me, thank you very much. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. Audio's good. Oh, good with the audio. Unbanned, exactly. The shirt. Yeah, I left the shirt at home. Dude, it's so cold in Europe. I was not able to bring the favorite shirt. So I'm using this with some, some heat tech stuff from Under Armour underneath. That's pretty okay. But the favorite shirt, it's too cold for Europe, man. I'm freezing my fucking balls off here. It's and it makes me want to eat candy all the time and carbs. So again, lower back is growing, but it is what it is. We'll get it. We'll get it off in January. Welcome to the Vigorous crew. What's up? Welcome to the Vigorous crew. Can you buy Cerebrolysin at a pharmacy in Bangkok? No, it is available through the compounding pharmacy that I work with, which is actually linked down below. You can get it on a prescription, right? If you qualify for that, it is a legitimate compounding pharmacy with a prescribing physician attached, similar to TRT clinics in the United States. Even though the compounding pharmacy here in Bangkok does not prescribe TRT, they have access to Cerebrolysin, in particular peptides, which again you'll have to go through the ringer, discuss that with the physician, and then they might be able to prescribe that for you. So link down below. If that's, fingers crossed, that's still allowed on YouTube guidelines, but it's a registered company that does everything through the Thai FDA approval process, including Cerebrolysin. And otherwise, Google might take you there. Can't tell you where exactly anymore, apparently. I think. Maybe. Bro, you need an alternative platform running simultaneously. So I looked into that. I looked into Rumble and X and Vimeo and etc. And while I would like to upload to Vimeo or Vimeo, however you pronounce it, for a membership site, potentially, Rumble, it's just, I uploaded there and I got no fucking views. Nothing. And even if I upload there, I would do it a week later because the views on YouTube is more important than these other platforms because the monetization and the reach and the search function is just inferior. So yes, I could upload to Rumble. Those videos will drop a week later after I got all the views on the YouTube video. But at this point, for 5 views, 10 views per video, it's not worth my time. So if the channel ever gets deleted, I would rather upload all of the videos to Patreon or to Vimeo and then offer it behind the paywall through the website. Or because in the end, it's more lucrative and makes more sense than uploading it to Rumble. And dude, if you go to Rumble, the search function and the presentation there, it's just terrible. And there's a lot of negativity on Rumble. It's like if you think the YouTube comment section is bad, look into the Rumble comment section. So I'm not entirely sure if I want to expose myself to that audience because it seems to be very politically driven and very negative and just constantly berating stuff. And yeah, you can say it's all freedom of speech. It's great. But why would I want to expose myself to an audience that I don't think is ready for this kind of content? Because there's no bodybuilding YouTube channels or fitness YouTube channels on Rumble either. So it's, maybe that's the last of the priority list. I upload all my audio to Spotify and Apple Podcast and Podbean. And if the channel was ever to be deleted, I'll just temporarily upload it to, the Patreon page, for example, which you should be able to find through Instagram. And then offer it for $1 or $2 all the old videos until I set up some sort of membership site and then return to YouTube under the name Vanilla Steve, where I just forego performance-enhancing drugs altogether. Because what's the fucking point? If you get banned once, you'll get banned twice for it. So, commissioned. What's up? Welcome to the Vigorous crew. Thoughts on Mike Israel 1 month off of lifting per year to let everything heal? Yeah, it does make sense, man. Makes sense. I mean, I take 1 month off here and there when I need it. Now I said once per year, once every 1.5 years, once every 9 months. When I feel that everything is kind of tight and the deep tissue massage therapy isn't really cutting it anymore, and 1 week off from the gym or 1 week deload isn't really improving my situation, then yeah, take a month off. I mean, I'm taking this month pretty easy as well. I just had 2 workouts in the UK. I didn't really work out in Holland. Just too cold. Don't want to go to the gym. Then next week I'll train in Thailand when I'm back, and then I go to New Zealand. I might train once or twice. So December is kind of easy, and then January we'll pick up the slack and go back to the gym hardcore. My main goal is not to get overly fat in December, which is hard. Biscup, regarding noobs, what would be your guess on the rate of complications of 250 milligrams of testosterone enanthate versus VAR on only first cycle? Let's say VAR much worse. I'm struggling to convince a lad who watches Israel's video. I don't think there's any complications in both if you're well prepared. But let's be honest, most people are noobs and are not well prepared. So with VAR, if you do a VAR only cycle, your LH and FSH will shut down, your natural testosterone and estradiol will be 0, which means your libido will be 0 as well. And with testosterone enanthate, 250 milligrams, your estradiol will be disproportionately high to what you had previously, just like your testosterone, because you're injecting it in a super physiological amount. And it means you can't just run testosterone enanthate. You also need Aromasin or anastrozole. Right? Or some sort of other method to keep your serum estradiol levels under control, which I discussed in many videos, many a time. So VAR only will be VAR only, and then you'll feel like shit towards the end. And test will not be test only, it will be test in an aromatase inhibitor or a lower dose at, let's say, 125 milligrams per week, which is not that much higher what most men produce naturally, even though in the difference of the peaks and valleys, you'll always be peaking, always have stable serum concentrations, and get better results. And maybe that's enough for that person. Maybe that's enough results for the first cycle. So whatever they do, it's their responsibility, right? It's their body, their responsibility. If they did a lot of research, they got a phenomenal first cycle, just like I got a phenomenal first cycle, but I was researching for years. And if they go into it haphazardly, they get marginal results, and then they blame the steroids, when in reality it was just their retardation that preventing them from making gains. And I think you need testosterone and estradiol to make gains. You know, nobody ever got big on a VAR only cycle or a SARM only cycle. They got some muscle, they got some cuts, but nobody looked into turned into a freak. So, unless you have phenomenal genetics, but why play the lottery when you can do it in a better way? Right? VAR only cycles are prescribed for kids in height protocols. So that tells you how much anabolism there is when it's just about height. And part of that VAR only protocol is just to reduce the estradiol to 0. So the estradiol is low, the growth plates don't close. And then the VAR is basically a testosterone replacement that doesn't aromatase. All right, look into it logically, please. O-Trip, I've been on 300 milligrams testosterone and pitting edema, estradiol on 20 to 30 with 2 times Aromasin, 6.25 milligrams per week, so that's 12.5 milligrams per week. Boyfriend is low, actually it's body fat. Body fat is low. Boyfriend is low on the floor, servicing my junk. Body fat is low, doing daily cardio, high water with good diet. Also tried Telmisartan and Winstrol. What should I do? I don't know. Maybe your electrolyte balance is off. Maybe too much sodium. Maybe not enough magnesium. Maybe not enough potassium. Could be a couple different things. Maybe taurine. Maybe heart failure. Could be. Low ejection fraction can lead to edema. Of course, you don't want to hear that. But maybe if the pitting edema doesn't go away on Telmisartan and Winstrol and controlling your estradiol, then maybe it's time to do an echocardiogram on your heart and determine your ejection fraction. So, I'm not sure. Or maybe you think you have terrible edema. Well, pitting edema, of course, is terrible. Maybe it's just time to take a week off and let your body rest. Could be multiple different things, man. I hope it gave you some insight to figuring it out. Chingus, welcome to the Vigorous Crew. Bump Deuce, welcome to the Vigorous Crew. Lonnie Lyon, welcome. Sam Burton, hemoglobin 506, red blood cell count 5.7, hemoglobin 19 or 180, nanomoles, hematocrit 52, blood pressure 140 over 80, a little bit high, body weight 80 kilos. Weight, height 170. So you're asking me if your blood pressure is too high? Yes, it is. Yeah. Do you daily fasted cardio and otherwise look into methods to control your blood pressure. But your body weight, 80 kilos for 180 centimeters, is not bad unless you're skinny fat. But if you're diced to the socks, then I don't think that's a bad body weight at all. But 100 kilos would be better. And at 170, 180 centimeters, you should be 90 kilos to 95 at least. How was the conference of human enhancement? This was very interesting. Yeah, so I was the only non-doctor, non-PhD there, under an alias no less. But there was another guy that was into genetics under an alias as well. Again, it's all new and it's all scary, and people don't want to use their medical license by being associated with something like the enhanced games, because enhanced games basically implies anything goes, and using pharmacology for sports enhancement, which is not where these medications and compounds are designed for. So yeah, this being frowned upon by the medical community a little bit, even though there's a good amount of doctors or people with PhD and very high education there to kind of help out and see what the fuss is all about. So it was basically like a brainstorming session. We had 3 panels where several experts came together and just discussed the reason why athletes enhance and how they can stay healthy while enhancing, and what falls under the umbrella of enhancement. It's just that not just testosterone, EPO, and growth hormone. I mean, genetic modifications, CRISPR, bionics, all that kind of stuff falls under enhancement. And where do you draw the line? Because if anything goes during an enhanced game, then the athletes might be incentivized to kind of tear themselves apart. And then we need, instead of drug testing to keep the athletes in line, we need health screening to keep the athletes in line, and then it's basically the same, right? You're limiting the athlete. So even having a lot of doctors on board, if you're limiting the athletes by saying, hey, you can't compete because your hematocrit is 65, then it's just another form of drug testing. You're allowed to use drugs, but you're not allowed to be unhealthy. But on what range of unhealthiness, right? Is that the human reference range up to 56? Or are we going to take the reference range in particular countries where hematocrit can be higher because they live at elevation? So that's 56, 58 maybe? Are we going to go with the medical dosages, or the medically examined dosage of 600 milligrams testosterone enanthate from the basin studies? EPO dosages, which are way higher than required because they're prescribed in the context of anemia or blood loss. But you're healthy, you already have good hematocrit, so you're going to go with the medical dose of EPO and give yourself a stroke. And all these things have to be figured out. So it was a good brainstorming session to kind of get that done. But it's very exciting, yeah. I felt like 40 or 50 of the smartest people regarding enhancements were in one room. And that led to a lot of discussions. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But there's a lot of brainstorming that still needs to take place before this can come into fruition. Let's see. Chingus, growth hormone, SubQ, or intramuscular, which is best for muscle gain, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just get it in. Doesn't matter, dude. I don't think we can do super chats today. I haven't seen any super chats. Can't super chat for some reason. Okay, so maybe there's still some restrictions on my channel. I have to look into that. Guys, see if you can super chat, and otherwise, might have to file a complaint. Because, well, the Vigorous Q&A is all about that super chat flood, right? How high have you seen high C-reactive protein from vaping? Usually guys that chronically vape, they don't come to me because they're not into health and fitness. But yeah, it could be as high as 10 to 20 milligrams per liter. But I've seen 40, 50, 60 milligrams per liter from, that's on the high sensitivity test, from injectable synthetic carrier oils like propylene glycol, polyethylene glycol, or ethyl oleate. And those were like multiple gram cycles where they would just inject EO and glycol. And that was pretty bad. Congrats on beating the Matrix. We're not in the clear yet. We can't do super chats, bro. What blood work should be requested to check the authenticity of Trenbolone? I'm guessing prolactin. Have fun on your vacation. Well, you could do a non-sensitive estradiol test, or you send it into Janoschik. Can I mention that? Well, it's for health and fucking wellness, right? So it should be able to mention Janoschik, where you can at least verify the quality of your steroids so you don't hurt yourself. And otherwise, I really don't know what to do. Because, well, at least everything that I recommended were high quality affiliates. Maybe under the new administration we can get away with a little bit more, but we'll have to wait until January 15th. 1 month out. Waiting until RFK hits the office. So yeah, the high sensitivity C-reactive protein for Trembolone should be low, so you know that the carrier oil is not bad. Estradiol, non-sensitive testing, so you know that the Trembolone is detecting is estradiol, and that's about it. But I would send it in for third-party testing in a place where they can actually see how many milligrams of Trembolone are in 1 milliliter of the product that you intend to use. Stoneward, welcome to the Vigorous crew. I think it's a lot of new people or old people just re-signing. Hey Steve, hope you're well. Been looking to add IGF-1 DES, 100 micrograms once a day pre-workout for 6 days a week to my test and Primo cycle in 2025. Would DES once per day be as beneficial as splitting up the dose 2 to 3 times daily? I've never talked to anybody who ever got anything out of DES. Yes, I've used LR3, and I've talked to people who got something out of LR3 with a single administration once per day, let's say pre-workout. But DES, pre-workout, post-workout, I tried it, various different brands. Never heard anybody say, I said, dude, you know what really gave me gains this offseason? IGF-1 DES. So finish your vials, buy some IGF-1 LR3. And honestly, I got more out of YK11 than I got out of IGF-1 LR3 or DES. And that's way cheaper. So, you know, if you want to go with IGF-1 LR3, I would do 1 microgram. So you dose it by the vial. 500 micrograms left, 500 micrograms left, right? Intramuscularly, bilaterally, post-workout. You know, to have the maximum IGF-1 response, you know, for recovery. There may be some MGF splicing, but I don't know, man. I think your money is better spent elsewhere. I mean, I got more of a response from a single administration of follistatin 344 of half a vial into the left and the right quads, right, to the top, which I discussed last week, and then IGF-1, real one, Increlex, to the side. I got such a massive pump and hard, dense fucking contraction. I mean, I still feel like I'm fucking sauced to the gills, but that's all the fucking chocolate that I've been eating. So don't expect too much. Talking about peptides, we are going to drop the Anabolic Roundtable on Monday. Yeah, finally got it done. So next week, we'll have something to watch. Well, I watched it already because I was there. But you guys have something to watch. And you'll see that IGF-1 DES is in E tier, I think. Where did I put it? See if we can find the spoiler alert. Tier list graphics, not here. 1 second, guys. Where did I put anabolic tier lists? Yeah, IGF-1 LR3, DES, MGF, A031, and A083. Those are all in F tier. Sorry. Injectables, agreedagogues, maybe E tier. It's we're pretty harsh, man. But listen, if you only have $500 to spend every month, then you're going to have to make a hard choice. And that hard choice, all the roads lead down to growth hormone and Increlex. Ideally in combination. Telmisartan and bivalol combination, or which one? That's kind of pointless, not knowing your blood pressure and your goals and your left ventricular hypertrophy or ejection fraction, right? So ask a little smarter. Can't super chat. Okay, we got some restrictions on the channel. We can't super chat. YouTube unbanned you, but they still have you on the naughty list. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's too bad because super chats is usually $300 or $200 a session. That's too bad. Let's see if in live I turned something off by accident. Slow mode, redirect, trailer, analytics, views, monetization. Monetization is on. Yeah, okay, well, no super chats then. That sucks. Well, let's see if we get it back next weekend. Sam Burton, realistically, for an athlete competing in the enhanced games, what's the limit of RBC hematocrit? Yeah, so this is something we have to discuss with all the doctors there. And again, the comfort level of the athletes might be higher than the comfort level of the doctor. So you're going to run into problems there because if the athlete is saying, I don't mind having an hematocrit of 70 or 7 and a hemoglobin of 19 and a hematocrit of 60, but the doctor's like, well, let's do 6, 17, and 54, right? Then you're going to have a problem. So they need to put in some guidelines, and then it's person to person, because what about the arterial shearing? Are they on vitamin K, fish oil, vitamin E, all these things that have control coagulation and blood thinning and all these things? Are they going to use aspirin, or from which hematocrit and platelet count is baby aspirin required? There's a lot of things that they need to figure out. Or anything goes, and then you sign a contract and you're not allowed to go to the hospital. If you go to the hospital, you're disqualified for life. Right? So something like that, some sort of clause where they relinquish all liabilities, all these things. So, yeah, there's a lot that they still need to figure out. Steve Allen, consider low-dose Primo to go along with TRT. My provider is in the U.S. Can only legally provide oral Primo. Yeah, that's a new thing in the U.S. Oral Primobolan acetate tablets, even though it's S tier or F tier. Well, it's better than getting no Primo, right? Other than low bioavailability, is it as good as the injectable Primo? No, you need to use the double amount, and then you potentiate more liver stress and a more significant reduction in HDL and SHBG. So in any way, context, injectable Primobolan is superior. And I would rather go with underground lab or pharma injectable Primo over oral pharma Primobolan acetate. But, you could do it this way. You get yourself a nice 4 to 6 week supply of oral Primobolan acetate. You run 25 milligrams to 50 milligrams per day. And in the meantime, you source some injectable Primo, and then you switch from, onto 25 times 7. You switch from 175 to 350 milligrams Primobolan acetate orally to 100 to 200 milligrams Primobolan acetate injectable Primobolan acetate. And then you compare the difference. That's what I would do. Actually, I would start with the injectable Primo because I've already done this experiment and I know what the end result and the conclusion is going to be. So let us know a couple of weeks from now, and you can tell me that I was right. Zeonic, coming off a T3 protocol, on for 45 days. How much T3 in dose timing? Also taking steroids. Yeah, okay, fine. I discussed all of this in the How to Come Off Thyroid Medication video, which I'm sure you've already watched. So you start with 100 micrograms T4 for as long as you need to get your thyroid-stimulating hormone and your hormone levels to come back. And then you start tapering the T4 off. Unless you're on growth hormone, then you keep the T4 in. So it's a little bit circumstantial. But with iodine, zinc, B12, selenium, and a good amount of carbohydrates, maybe you're 2 weeks on T4 and then 2 weeks on 100 micrograms T4, then 2 weeks on 50 micrograms T4. And then I would do blood work again. And then maybe you come down to 25 micrograms, but usually over a course of a month, sometimes even 2 weeks, all thyroid parameters fall back into place. And the only reason why we add in the T4 is because there's an initial dip. When the T3 comes out, your thyroid-stimulating hormone levels haven't picked up yet. So you need the T4 to convert it to T3 to keep your T3 levels going as you take the T3 out. Hope it makes sense. What are your thoughts on injectable Cardarine SR900 blend? Are the carrier oils trash? So I believe that SR909 can be dissolved in regular MCT oil with benzobenzoate and benzoyl alcohol. You don't need synthetic carrier oils, from what I've been told. Haven't used it myself. And again, it's going to vary from brand to brand. So stick to the ones that I would endorse somewhere, like AA or MA. Shouldn't cause inflammation. I haven't used the injectable blends myself, or Cardarine or SR909 solo, because the oral tablets have always worked well for me. So why inject more oil when it's not needed? But some people swear by it. So give it a run. See if you notice a difference. I'm sure the bioavailability is significantly higher. If you get better fat loss or better stamina, endurance, and wakefulness out of it, then by all means go for it. And again, if you're unsure, run this compound for 2 weeks and then go check your high sensitivity C-reactive protein levels. to see if you get systemic inflammation, and otherwise you would get redness at the site of administration and maybe flu-like symptoms within 2 or 3 shots, and that's probably an early indication that the oils are not really suitable for long-term use. 6 weeks into TRT, 25 milligrams daily, so that's 175 milligrams weekly with no aromatase inhibitor. Total testosterone 1550 nanograms per deciliter, estradiol's 86. Now I'm adding in HCG, 250 ILs 3 times per week. Would 12.5 milligrams Aromasin daily be too much to take to get a favorable estradiol? So in HCG, you'll probably get a testosterone of 500 and an estradiol of 25, give or take, based on a lot of anecdotal experience over the years. So your total test might end up at 2,000, and your estradiol might end up at 100, maybe even 125. And in that context, I would say that 12.5 milligrams of Aromasin 3 times per week is enough. But feel free to start with daily and then check your serum estradiol levels 4 weeks into the protocol of adding in the HCG and the Aromasin to see if you need to taper the Aromasin dose up or down. The peptide tier list is going to break people's hearts. Yeah, people are not going to be happy. You need some duo Penotti since you're back in Holland. Yeah, duo Penotti. Pasta. Man, I would rather go with the Speculoos spread. Duo Penotti I've had in the past, but Speculoos spread is something new. I saw it at my sister's yesterday. Like, holy shit, I love Speculoos. And now there's a spread of that. But dude, I usually get diabetes when I go back home because I want to eat all the food that I used to eat as a child. So I think Tuesday we went out to dinner with my mom. Some Japanese place was pretty okay for Dutch standards. Not according to Japanese standards, but for Dutch standards it was pretty okay. And then we went to the grocery store to the Albert Heijn, and I walked past the bakery stuff, and I'm like, oh man, eierkuchen. Couldn't let it go, man. Got some licorice too. So that's why I shouldn't go here too long, because I just want to fucking eat. And especially now in winter when you don't want to go outside. And again, without my wife, there's no tourism to do here. I bought enough cigars. I got enough clothes. I don't need to go into the city at all. So all I did is work and, eat a little bit too much. Oh well, still handsome, albeit fat. Yeah, shaving helps. Shaving and showering helps. Let's see, where are we going? New member, what's up? Any point in running CJC and Ipamorelin with growth hormone? I heard a lot that I don't want to waste. I don't think it's useful if the CJC and Ipamorelin is going to increase your growth hormone levels. Maybe you can do that in the morning and growth hormone at night, or CJC, Ipamorelin at night and a growth hormone in the morning. But you still get a negative feedback from the elevated IGF-1, making the CJC and Ipamorelin less effective. So you get less bang for your buck. Dude, I would just write down how much money you would spend on this combination of CJC and Ipamorelin over the week, and then run an equivalent dose for the exact same amount of money on growth hormone. You probably get better results, because these growth hormone secretagogues are expensive, and most gray area peptide website companies that sell growth hormone secretagogues usually also sell growth hormone. And otherwise, well, I'm sure you can piece it together, for fuck's sake. And then if you spend $5 on CJC Ipamorelin, you could spend $5 on growth hormone, and that's already 2 units. And I think you get more out of it. You just got to learn how to source. Man, chat feels dead without the super chats. I got so spoiled over the last 2 years. Normally, we'd already be up to $100 by now. Talking about $100. Bitcoin is still over $100,000. 101,600. Time to buy the Lambo, guys. Welcome back, bro. Yeah, everything seems to be in order. We got the same amount of people, 250, 260 people in the chat. 0 likes, but I expect nothing less of you guys. I got 121 likes and 260 people in the chat. So, as usual, the likes are not directly correlated to the viewer count, but that's okay. But the super chats aren't here. Oh well. Maybe I have to put ads every 1 minute when we're done. Let's see, where are we? Getting fat is just it just makes the cut feel so much better. Yeah, I think the cut is going to go fantastically because now I've been in a caloric surplus for like 7 weeks when I left, or 8 weeks when I left, or now we're week 9, and we got 4 more weeks to go. So it's like 13 weeks of good old eating, good old heavy training. My pants don't fit, my clothes don't fit, underwear's too tight. Yeah, so we're definitely making some gains, but 121 kilos was a little bit too much. So I didn't weigh myself. I'm probably 117 now. And when I saw the pictures of the enhanced games of me in a shirt, in a suit next to everybody else, I'm like, shit, man. I look like a fucking ogre. Just like Commission said, whoops, I accidentally all the carbohydrates. Hey, Steve, is there a way to tell if you've accidentally injected into a vein instead of intramuscular? If you start coughing after a steroid injection, doesn't matter if it's Trembolone, testosterone, Boldenone, then yes, you went into a vein. And if it's with growth hormone and you suddenly go dizzy, you're like, oof, it's a bit much. Then yeah, it happens sometimes, man. How do you like the BP? How do you like the BP growth hormone so far? I like it a lot better than the TP growth hormone. Um, they didn't take any of the videos offline where I discussed all of these brands, so I'm not sure what's allowed or what's not allowed. Yeah, how do you know you got banned? I don't know, dude. I didn't get an explanation. So I'm walking on ice right now. But I like the BP GH quite a bit. Less water retentive than the TPGH, but I stopped it a week before I flew to Holland because I didn't want to deal with the water retention. And I knew that I had to slim down a little bit because unfortunately I had to fly to Europe economy with extra lecture room, because business class was sold out. And yeah, so I still sat like this, trying to sleep for the 2 flights from Bangkok to Dubai and Dubai to Birmingham. And then flight from Birmingham to Amsterdam, of course, is only 1 hour. So still got extra leg room though. But those seats you can't even recline. That's just a bus with wings. So that's you can imagine what kind of shitty. It's just kind of like Delta or American Airlines, just some shitty flight. So yeah, I know that I won't be training them a lot, and of course I'm going to New Zealand. So what's the point in taking all these drugs when I'm not utilizing them for anabolism? Because well, the gym sessions are a bit meh. The food intake is great, obviously, but not enough protein, maybe too much saturated fat, and flying up and down left to right and trying to finish as much work as I can before I go on the next holiday. I think it's more of a priority now. So we're saving the GH for the gyno surgery in January. And Steve have been off for 11 months. My testosterone levels came back to the mid 400s. Now it hurts to get an erection. No, my head hurts also. Went to 2 urologists, have no clue what to do. No paranos. Well, if you didn't have those issues, then you might need to, or when you're on cycle, then just go back on TRT, man. I don't know what your age is. I don't know what else you're doing. I don't know what your blood pressure is. But if it hurts to get an erection and your head hurts, then maybe your testosterone levels need to be twice as high or maybe 3 times as high. And if that solves the problem, then add some HCG to it and sustain your fertility. And then you can try it again the next time you want to get somebody pregnant, or the next time you want to come off to get somebody pregnant. At least your fertility parameters will have been sustained. 300 people in the chat and 150 likes. Uncle Steve's disappointed. What am I to do? Let's see if there's something fun to answer. Smash the like button, yeah. Jay always likes Steve's content. What are the advantages of staying natural instead of just doing testosterone? Well, you don't have to fuck with your health. So I completely understand why people don't want to go to the sauce rounds, because it's never just TRT. It's TRT plus and then plus 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 and then steroid cycles and peptides and injectable nootropics. You open up Pandora's box and you turn into a fucking drug fiend. And some of us get paid for it. I mean, I'm a fucking professional drug user after all. I use drugs, I talk about it, I do the research, and then I make affiliate sales. What a life. I don't know how this happened, but this is the life I got. Shrek maxing is the way to go. Yeah, almost. Almost. I just need to turn green. Joshua, good to see you back. Looking great. Traps looking at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, I don't train traps anymore though. But the arms are, hell yeah, still good. What's the biggest quantity of oil you can bin subcutaneous microadministration daily in one injection site? I found that 1 milliliter is pretty much the maximum. But it kind of depends on where you do it. So I do it in the upper glute where there's still a little bit of meat, even when I'm 8% body fat. There's still some fat left there in the upper glute, side glute area. So I can pin an entire cc every single day for a 7 cc steroid cycle. And then water-based is also a milliliter, but of course you could do multiple 1 milliliter injections per day because it disperses and absorbs so fast. Can you dose oral BPC 157 and TB 500 high enough to get similar effect as injectables? No, only work in the intestinal tract. As far as I know, it has no permeability through the intestinal tract, and it just acts locally and then gets broken down into peptides. Might be great for intestinal health though. So depending on your goals, yeah, might be a good idea to run some oral BPC 157 and TB 500. I'll do the same. I'm gonna try to fix his digestion. AA Cloudflare blocked anyone in the UK. Same here, man. I can't access my AA affiliate account, so I have no idea what the sales are. So I guess I'll have to go to Thailand to figure out what it is. And otherwise, you have to use a VPN, which I had to use a VPN in the UK because I couldn't even enter Binance. Because then I went to Binance UK, and I don't want to trade on Binance UK when I have a different Binance account, and I need to trade Bitcoin against the USDT, not Bitcoin against the Great British Pounds. So, yeah, VPNs. Hey, Steve, some people didn't know what they got until it was gone. Welcome back. Second, yeah, this is always the funny thing, right? I got a lot of messages, though. Welcome back. Second, I'm using SLU PP332, MOTS-c, SS31. I think you can take that out. I never noticed anything out of it, and you need to run it at a pretty high dose, and it just makes it unaffordable. 5-amino 1-MQ methylene blue. I think that's good. Just take the SS31 out. I don't think it contributes anything besides draining your wallet, and whatever money you spend on SS31, spend it on GH. Definitely getting leaner as I grow on a rebound. Just wanted to share. Okay, that's good. I was getting leaner when I was in Thailand using SLU, MOTS-c, and methylene blue, but not 5-amino 1-MQ. I would only use that when I'm sub 6% body fat, which is rare in my instance, but you're a pretty lean guy. Yeah, I was getting leaner also. And then, of course, I went to the UK and Holland, and now I'm fat again. It is what it is. I heard that many bodybuilders end up with a deep vein thrombosis after long fights. How do you usually prepare for long fights? I've never heard that of any bodybuilder getting that ever. So I don't know which bodybuilders you talk to, but I've never heard a bodybuilder get a deep vein thrombosis. But maybe the bodybuilders are fucking unhealthy. They don't do their daily fasted cardio. They got varicocele, or what is it called? Not varicocele. Those veins in their legs that are completely horrendous due to poor blood flow. And maybe they're vitamin K deficient, and fully vaxxed and then some. So no, I've never heard of that, of anything. What I do is I wear my compression socks, and of long flights I just fast and drink a bottle of water, and then I arrive lean, dry, and not water retentive, unless I use a bottle of growth hormone. So maybe take the growth hormone out a couple days before the flight, wear the compression socks, drink a lot of water, don't eat any of the airplane food unless you're flying back home. So I didn't really eat anything. I ate something when I arrived in the UK. And then, since the damage is already done, and since the food at Emirates is absolutely phenomenal, I will be eating on the way back. And then I'll do the same. I'll clean out for about a week, a little bit binging and purging. Not too hard purging though. And then I'll clean out a little bit for a week, and then I will fly fasting to New Zealand, hit the ground running, because then I arrive for Christmas. And then on the way back, I'll probably just eat the airplane food, because then the damage is already done. Do you prefer to run mitochondrial stack year-round as an entrepreneur to help with energy focus, or do you prioritize it primarily for cutting? So the mitochondrial support stack would be maybe a little bit higher dosed during the cutting phase to help with fat loss, obviously, and energy levels as they come down because you're calorically depleted and restricting, obviously. And right now, I just run the SLU, the MOTS-c, and the methylene blue at modest dose, just 750 micrograms SLU per day, 1 milligram MOTS-c on training days, and then 5 milligrams methylene blue on workout days. So that's 4 times a week for the MOTS-c and the methylene blue. But then, of course, when I'm cutting, I do 5 workouts per week, so it's a little bit more. And then I might shift up the methylene blue to 10 milligrams just to get a little bit of a boost for oxygenation and stamina. And mood, because it is a MAOI inhibitor and increases serotonin levels in the brain. So yeah, I run this year round. And then I think that the stack is pretty much the same. Yeah, need to stay cognitive, man. Got a lot of work to do when you're bulking or cutting or not. Let's see, what's interesting to answer. Steve, what's your favorite mass builder, not including Primo? Food, man. Come on, you know the answer to this. Doesn't matter what drugs you use. I mean, I do like this cycle of Testacament. It was great. Got nice and fluffy, nice and juicy. The joint felt really lubricated. Gyno grew like crazy, though, so I'd have to get that surgically removed. But that was the goal. Didn't call it Operation Gyno for no reason. But, dude, you can grow in anything, man. It doesn't fucking matter. You can cut on anything, too. I might, when I start my cut sometime next year when I'm healed from the gyno surgery, I might just do Testacament to keep the joint lubricated. And in the beginning of dieting, you turn into a watery mess anyway before the body fat is really gone. So what's the point? I could run Primo from the start and then still end up as a watery mess as the body fat levels come down and the fat is being replaced with water until everything kind of contracts. Or I can run Testacament to stay strong. I think I'm just going to do that. Testacament, GH, Increlex, Retatrutide, and then leave the orals for the end when I need it, and then maybe replace the Decament for Primo and a low dose of Tren. And then in 6 weeks, you see some serious transformation, which is just water redistribution, not actual fat loss, just water redistribution, from the subcutaneous space to the intermuscular space. And then you throw in some YK11 to push past strength plateaus, and then hopefully the deca will be overlapping so I don't get creaky joints. And then, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you'll see some serious shit. So whatever you prefer, man. Don't rely on me what to run. You can figure that out by yourself. Yeah, Alvaro. Alvaro knows, man. I'm pretty sure Steve's favorite mass builder is a ton of food. Yeah, but we mean drugs. Fuck, test GH insulin. Now go forth and make it happen. I always like a video. Do I get a cookie? Now you get more free content, which is unlike you get from other channels. Well, high quality content, that is. Well, meant to be problematic for a pregnancy. Yeah, of course. Come on, man. Steroids are problematic for pregnancy, but especially Mint and Deca and Tren. So luckily I got that out of the way. Steve, is it strange to wake up with a fasting blood glucose of less than 4 nanomoles per liter when you don't have diabetes? It has nothing to do with diabetes. It means that you wake up hypo, right? So, or you have great insulin sensitivity, or you're in a caloric restrictive state. So, again, try to determine the cause and then see if it's correlated. Quick favor, Steve. Can you please ask your assistant to let people know whether he got the articles? Very unresponsive. Thanks. Yes, he's also very busy, but keep in mind we've got 75 applications, so it might take a little while. But I'll ask him to get back to the people that he got the article from. But he's probably just going through the review process. Because again, the whatever you sent in, it's pretty lengthy and it takes time to go through. So please give him some time, but we'll make sure that we get everybody responded to ASAP. Sorry for the delay. I haven't really looked into it because I delegate it. I guess my assistant is busy as well with our stuff. Steve, it's probably the guys at Getting Bigger reporting your channel because your gains protocol might put them out of business since someone posted it there. Oh, really? Your gains protocol might put them out of business. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's match reporting or you know, I don't even know what Getting Bigger. I know Get Big, but yeah, when you're the biggest YouTube channel, you got plenty of competition and people hating. So mass reporting is a serious offense, and maybe that's the reason why I didn't get my channel was reinstated right away without any issues, and they didn't really tell me what the problem was because they looked at the log and then they're like, I just got bullied, which happens. Even though I can't get super chats. How am I going to pay my timestamps guy if I can't get super chats? Hey, Steve. Steve, now that you went through it all, would it have been better to go straight to IVF since hopping on gear to increase fertility? No, you have to go through the process because, like, we tried naturally for 1 year, then we did IVF, and then the first implantation was a success. But maybe we didn't need IVF, and IVF is expensive, man. Not that I'm short on cash, but if I don't have to spend 25,000 euros on IVF and additional treatments and fertility medications, then I'd rather keep that money and buy half a Bitcoin, or well, in this case, quarter Bitcoin. But at the time we did IVF, it was about half a Bitcoin, right? So, could have doubled my money or 4x my money. But now now it's in the form of a little child. So, no, I think everybody should go through the process and try for a year to try it naturally, which I will explain in the how to get your wife pregnant video, which I'm working on. But again, next week I probably don't have time to record, so there'll just be another anabolic roundtable. The videos will be very thin, guys. I'm just fucking flooded with work, and then others and travels, honestly. So I'm doing all my emails, but I'm not doing any preparation for scripts. So just give me some time. January is when I'll pick up the slack. But no, I think everybody should come off or sort their fertility parameters. Try for 6 months to 1 year, depending on the age of the wife or the girlfriend or the partner, however you want to call it. Right? Nobody wants to get married nowadays. I get it. Western world's fucked up. Divorce rules. Right? You got to protect yourself. Even though I didn't, because I'm really in love, which is rare nowadays. So yeah, if she wants to take half my assets, fine. I don't give a shit. I'll make more money afterwards. You can't take away somebody's ability to make money, which I don't expect a divorce in my near future, but you never know, right? Let's see. So go through that process, and then do IVF when you're at the end of your line, and feel that you need it, because Chase Irons didn't need to do IVF, and his fertility parameters were way worse than mine. Even though his wife was probably more fertile than my wife because she's younger and maybe lived a different life. So all these things, you have to consider. But yeah, why spend 20K, 50K, 75K, depending on the country where you live, on IVF, unless you get it, through your healthcare, which is also the case for many countries. If you get IVF for free through your healthcare, then fuck it, man. Why wait? Why wait? Donate the semen sample with 22 million with decent morphology, decent motility. I'll let them split it up, select the best semens to get the 10 to 20 eggs that they retrieved from the partner, in a good state of blastocyst and then genetic analysis, and then go right back on cycle, man. And I had the point to prove, right? I'm a public person. So I wanted to prove that I could come off and get my wife pregnant without the IVF, but after 1 year of trying naturally, I didn't want to try another year. Statistically, it would have probably taken 2 years. And another year would have meant she would have been 42, me 42. So it just takes time, So after 1 year, we tried it. We went through IVF, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, IVF has a lot of benefits. We did chromosome testing. We were able to select the healthiest embryos and implanted that and go through the process of implantation, and then know exactly when to check for HCG, and then the HCG is high, right? You go to the clinic, you check the serum HCG, it's high, and then you do the ultrasound, and you see something moving. So, and then 2 weeks later, it turns into from a little worm to tadpole, and then tadpole to a gummy bear, and then a gummy bear to a little human. And then you can see the heartbeat develop. So all these things are fucking cool. And I'm glad I did because, now from start to finish, basically, the earliest baby pictures that we have are the embryos. You can't say that if you do it naturally. So at least we got the day one embryo pictures. Yeah, and if they cost a little bit extra money, then so be it. The money will come, the money will flow, but the pictures you would never be able to get if you do it naturally. So, all right, where are we? So went on a tangent. I guess that's the last one, guys. My family is going to come in about 5 minutes. It's time to eat. Let's see if there's anything pending or anything crazy. Asking for a friend, how do you get your husband pregnant? Just ask them to vote for Kamala Harris. Come on, this was coming. I think that's the end of the stream. Maybe this is why I got canceled. I do like the orange man a little bit more than the other candidates. So at least for the next 4 years, I feel more inclined to spend money in the US instead of taking it out. If you have in Colombia costs around 9K, it might be worth doing knowing all its benefits. Yeah, in the end, from the start that you have a healthy baby. And we did the nip test and everything. And, then the nip test is just a confirmation because from the beginning that all the chromosomes are just low risk or just perfectly healthy and that you don't have risk for Down syndrome or something like that. So, yeah, so from the beginning, we were very chill about it. And then the nip test came and then you see that everything's perfect or low risk under 30 something chromosomes that they tested that they can check with the serum analysis from the mother, my wife, that being. And yeah, now it's happy sailing, man. Up and up. The bull market has started, but the bull market will end before my baby is born, which means gains plenty of money for baby clothes. All right, guys, let's leave it here. My family is coming. I just wanted to go live to thank you guys so much for all of your support while I was in YouTube jail. It was only for 4 days, but we got it done. Made a few phone calls. I got a lot of people offering their help, which I highly appreciate. And now we're back. And besides not being able to receive any super chats, I think we're in the green. Well, let's see what the views are on the Anabolic Roundtable when it drops on Monday. Monday, the peptide tier list will drop. So make sure you watch it. I'll promote it on Instagram, obviously. And then you guys, please just do me a solid for once. Right? Go right. Even if you don't want to watch it, play in the background. Press the like button, leave a comment or a couple comments. Stroke the algorithm to the point YouTube knows that you guys love me. On the first video that's back after the channel got terminated for a couple days. And then fingers crossed we'll get right back into the algorithm. We get our super chats back. And then, it's like this week never happened. And Christmas is given to me by you guys. Okay, guys, peace out. Enjoy your weekend. I know I will. And we'll see you guys Monday and the next Vigorous Q&A next weekend. Take care.